Well, hey everybody, it's me, Matt. And over there in the holodeck, it's also Matt. Isn't this weird? This is weird. This is weird. We should call it. What should we call you? Are you the captain? Should I call you Captain?
Well,
Admiral?
uh,
Commodore?
let's go with Lieutenant Commander.
The Matt. We have the
Okay.
Cisco. You can be the Matt, and I'll just be regular Matt.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, you're the Matt. You've met the wormhole
Or
aliens or
the
the
other Matt.
prophets. What side of that did you land on? What side of that did you land on? The prophets, the aliens? Are all they one and the
Oh,
same? It's hard. It's hard because they are the same thing, right? Hmm.
I'm gonna land on the side of the prophets.
Side of the prophets. Okay, so more gods than aliens. I think. Okay,
If
let's
that's what
let's
you want to
just get
call them,
into it.
but
All right,
okay.
man. All right, Matt. I'm Matt. That's the audience. I don't know. We're not live. This is pre-recorded. Very unusual for the channel, but whatever. Um, so clearly, Deep Space Nine is my favorite one because I jumped right into it. Okay,
Okay.
okay, I jumped right into it. I made a reference to the Cisco. I made a reference to the prophets, the wormhole aliens, all of that, and I want to give Deep Space Nine credit and kudos for this thing right here. The fact that we can have this debate and have a conversation about it. They did such a good job of making them aliens and gods
hmm
that it just, oh my god. And they were only like 6 episodes across the entire series. Like physically, like having like interactions with the prophets
Oh, okay.
wasn't that much. They talked about them all the time. They worshipped them on Bajor,
Yeah.
but they didn't have all that much interference, direct interference throughout the
I,
series as much as people would want to think.
I do have to say, and I'm sure you'll appreciate this. Far Beyond the Stars,
Yes.
without a doubt, one of the best pieces of television entertainment ever.
Ever. Ever. Ever.
Um, right behind that was I don't remember the name of the episode, but it was
Mhm.
Sanctuary Cities.
Oh yes, that's oh gosh. There's two of them. There's a two-party, and it's not past tense because that's the Voyager one. Um,
No,
it's the
um,
it's the
yes, where
maybe it
Cisco
was past tense. I'm gonna look it
maybe,
up right now. You tell me though. You keep talking. Sorry.
but Cisco takes the place of a notable historical character.
Gabriel Bell.
Yes. Um, and it was such a good commentary on. I don't care where you are in the timeline of humanity. It was just such a good commentary on
Mm-hmm.
humanity. Um, so, Far Beyond Stars, number one of
It
all
is past tense,
Star
by
Trek.
the way.
Number two
Yeah.
was, yeah, past tense.
Mm-hmm.
Again, um, they did such a good job on, um, I don't know, putting putting reality right in your face,
Mm-hmm.
kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing.
They're doing what sci-fi is supposed to do.
Yeah.
They take it, they spin it on its head a little bit, and then they
hmm
present it to you, and you're like, oh, I can see the reality in there. And what's great about Deep Space Nine, what's wonderful about Deep Space Nine is that we were able to see the other aspects of the Federation, other aspects of Starfleet. We spent the entire original series and Next Generation saying this is the
hmm
epitome of all utopia. Nobody ever has a problem.
Yeah.
Gene Roddenberry said these people can never argue with each other. Like, wow. But
I
we,
remember.
mhm,
I remember attending. What was it? Oh gosh, I don't remember the year, but Major Barrett was one of the key speakers
mhm,
for an event in Maryland,
okay.
and it was a sci-fi event.
Mhm.
But she was talking about, oh, we're going to do this with Deep Space Nine. We're going to do this with Deep Space Nine. But I loved the fact that the focus of Deep Space Nine was um, we're assholes.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, kind of at its core, at its gist.
and and um, we'll keep effing things up but we're still at the same time trying to make it better at the same time.
Yeah.
It was a much more realistic
Hmm.
approach to humanity.
Yeah.
I love Next Gen. I will
Yes.
always love Next Gen. Next Gen was the ideology of what we could be,
Hmm.
whereas DS9 was, mm, we're
Yeah.
so far from that.
Yeah. It's it's
Um,
it's as if Next Generation was like, here it is if we have just the perfect go to this
yeah,
utopia, and Deep Space Nine was like, this is how it's really gonna be if we got there.
yeah.
There's Section 31.
Hmm.
There's the fear of the changelings infiltrating
Yeah.
Earth, and then Starfleet martial law. From gosh, well, I don't know episode names. See, that's going to be a problem because people are just going to rip me to shreds for not knowing episode names.
Well,
Well,
when it
that
comes
one
to
time they did that thing.
when it comes to Next
Paradise
Gen
Lost. See, I just got to
DS9,
think about it. I just got to not think about it. I'm sorry.
well, see, when it comes to Next Gen DS9 and Voyager, I am horrible about remembering the title names.
Hmm.
But if you come at me and you're like, oh, that incident with the thing and the person and the, I know exactly what episode you're talking about.
Okay. Well, Harry Mudd starts the time loop on Discovery, and we got Stamets dancing with Michael. What's the name of that episode, sir?
Sorry, that's a little too new.
Okay, so not Discovery.
I love it. It's a wonderful show. Um, I can't tell you. Uh, um, Anthony Rapp and
Yes.
Wilson Cruz. Uh, um,
That was a grunt of pleasure, of enjoyment, by the way.
yes,
That was
it
not
was.
frustration, just so you
No,
know.
exactly. I am so happy that series
When we get
is
two
going and
dudes,
continues to go.
if you get two dudes on Discovery just brushing their teeth and talking, I think that we've really made it, you
Exactly.
know?
I wish they would have an episode where they argued about curtains or plates or napkins,
Hmm.
or
Just a little more realism.
yes.
You know, they're,
Um,
they're here they are in the 30th century or whatever it is going, all right, so there's a whole new, just a lot of decor that we can pick from now, Paul.
yeah, and we need to figure out a way to agree on what to paint the walls.
Right. So do we use programmable matter or do we go old school? Maybe find an antique. Let's go antiquing in the Starfleet
Oh
Starbase.
goodness. Okay.
All right, that's too much. That's too far. That's too far. We'll save that for the comic book spinoffs. Oh my gosh. So to the people who are watching, this was a weird lead in. It's because we were talking before to hit the record button. It is what it is. You're still on the 10th floor. This time you're on deck 10. I don't know what
Hmm.
starship we're on yet, though. You guys are gonna have to help us figure that out. Leave a comment.
Oh, I'm gonna have to I wanna let me look that up now.
Okay. The
Neo.
the Neo Constitution class.
Um,
So if we're pretending we're on the Titan.
yeah, and so oh goodness. That's not a site I want. I saw some
Ooh.
wonderful 3D renderings, but they didn't. Oh no, that's not it. Um, they didn't do the like I said earlier when I looked at it, it's like, oh well, the Titan is Luna class, and
Yeah. I
tenth
mean,
deck is cargo. It's like,
it's
well,
fine.
no, it's not. It's
We can regenerate with 7 of 9. It's fine. It's okay. Does
yeah.
she still need an alcove? I don't know if they've
You
covered
know
that.
what? I wonder. That might come up.
I don't
Um,
know.
one of the things I loved was um, the when she met um, Admiral Picard and Captain Riker, and she made it a point to say the captain wants me to be referred to as
Annika
Annika
Hansen.
Jansen.
Spoiler alert for episode 1 of season 3 of Picard. If
I
you haven't
know.
watched it, go back and watch it right now and then come on back because we're about to spoil it or something. I feel like I'm
Um,
obligated to say something like that.
the um, the ally in me um, just
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
really appreciated the representation of that because, again, we've seen in Picard and Voyager, um, uh, Jerry Ryan's character identifying different ways.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's like, as a character, it's like we need to respect the way the character wants to be recognized.
Mm-hmm.
So the her struggling with the
Yeah.
oh well, that's thank you for recognizing me as 7 of 9, but that's not how I'm.
Yeah. The captain
The captain
prefers.
wants this.
Yeah,
So
prefers Annika. Yeah.
yeah, the whole dead naming thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm glad we took a moment to introduce that, and I'm curious to see if they're going to take it another step.
It really seems like they are. So, if we can spend 5 to 10 minutes just talking about initial gut reactions. Next week we can get into details and plots and theories. But I
Mm.
gotta say, all right, I haven't been the biggest fan of Picard, the series.
Ah!
The series. Picard, the person, great, wonderful, awesome. I haven't been the biggest. I've seen it all. I've watched it all. I'm always very excited because the marketing is so good. Oh my god, the hype in the marketing for Picard is over the top amazing. And it always draws me in and it always makes me ready. And I always watch it and I always take it and I always appreciate it because it's Star Trek. I'm not going to not appreciate it. But I will be honest, at the end of both of the seasons, I'm left wanting something different than what I just watched.
One of the things I really
Ace.
appreciated about Picard is each season has been its own show.
Mm-hmm.
So season 1, by the way, I tried so hard to power through 1 and 2 before we
It's fine.
connected, and it just wasn't happening. And that's mainly because once you start watching an episode, it's like I can't skip this.
Uh-huh.
But season 1, big thing was Picard becoming Ascent,
Yes.
and season 2 was the new Borg Queen.
Right.
Season 3, obviously, being a reintroduction to the next gen crew. But I've loved the fact that each season has been something a little bit new,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to
Same
all
old,
the others.
same old.
Yeah,
Next
yeah,
Generation, seasons 8, 9, and 10.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I understand what you're saying. It's been very different. There has been merits. There has been very good qualities about them, but there's also been, in my opinion, you clearly disagree because you think they're perfect shows. Honestly, it's not necessarily about the content or the story that we actually watched. It was mostly about pacing. It was about keeping people important and doing important things. But if you take it from a different point of view, for example, last season of Picard, season 2, Rafi and Seven, they were there because they needed to be. They were there because they were contractually obligated to be in the season.
Hmm.
Unless you watch it and you have decided that their story was a little bit separate and different than everybody else's. It wasn't about how they were contributing to solving the time crisis, but it was about their relationship.
Hmm.
So I get that. I get that point of view. But I want my 7 of 9 a little more important, you know?
Well, so again, going to the first episode of season 3,
Mm.
and hearing Rafi mentioning,
Let's
"Oh,
split
my
up.
girlfriend left me," and it's like,
Again, twice.
I
It's
know,
twice.
But it's like, okay, she's undercover. We don't know.
Maybe it's true, maybe it's not.
Um, but then at the same time, then we flip over and we see Seven, Annika,
Hmm.
as a full-fledged uh,
Starfleet
Starfleet,
officer.
yeah, Starfleet
Yeah.
officer. So we don't know if there's communication between the two of them.
Nope.
So I have to say that at the end of season 2, I was so excited to see more development
Hmm.
between Rafi and Seven.
Yeah.
Um, so um,
So I guess that is a question.
mainly, honestly, mainly because it wasn't a plot point.
Hmm.
Um, it's just like, oh, here's two people that connected and want to, you know, pursue this. That's why I was like so into it. It wasn't like, forcing it down your throat,
No,
kind
no,
of,
no. It's just woven into the fabric of the character.
you have to accept this relationship or else you're not going to get the rest of the season.
No, 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 no. I don't think it was like that. I appreciate this first episode of season 3 of Picard
Mm-hmm.
very, very much. Now, with that said, I've also appreciated the first episodes of both of the previous seasons as well. Very, very much. It's just hasn't always. Pace. The pace has just always just killed me.
Yeah.
Really, it's really what it is. When it comes down to it, it is pace. If the thing was a little more punchy, I would have liked it a lot better. That's what it boils down to. But what we got, all right, what we got this time though, Matt, Lieutenant Commander Matt. You know what we got? We got two things were introduced in the beginning of the season, in the beginning of the episode, and both of those things were addressed by the time the first episode was over. Oh my god. Beverly's gone, where'd she go? Oh, here she is. Hey, what's going on with Rafi? Oh, that's what's up. Hey, she found out about this plot. Is she gonna solve it? Nope. In the previous seasons, this would have taken us 4 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So I really appreciate how we got these things introduced. We got some information on them. At least something happened in both of these plot points already,
Mm-hmm.
making me curious about what's going on next. What the hell is this portal? From like the
Yep.
game Portal, like that just can
Oh,
destroy
oh.
a building.
Mm, mm,
Um,
mm.
I'm
Okay.
curious about just Rafi's whole thing. I've never been more invested in Rafi, and they've done it. Like I cannot praise season 3 enough yet. Like
Yeah.
before we started broadcasting as well, you talked about some of the music, and I didn't answer because you were having your moment with it. All right, music 20 times better than what we've gotten in the previous 2. Now,
Yeah.
I think that has been beautiful. I think that the composer, I can't remember, is it Michael something? I don't know. Um, I don't know. I think that the composer did a great job. I think it's beautiful music, but it didn't really resemble Star Trek sounding things to me, except for like at the end when they would
Mm-hmm.
put a boom, 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 like at the
Mm-hmm.
end of it.
Mm-hmm.
This time round, though, I got a weed whacker going now. Um, this time round, though, we had cinematic music that was based in previous entries of music soundtracks in the past. I got Wrath of Khan feelings. I got definitely First Contact there over the
Yes.
end credits. Like it was one for one the exact same song, not recut or anything like that. Maybe a little shorter.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
ugh,
They knew what they were doing when they did the Neo Constitution class.
and the very
Um.
slow cinematic.
Yes.
We're gonna spend some time showing you the ship on the outside leaving space
Yeah.
dock.
Um. As much as I love seeing, well, for example, uh, Enterprise,
Hmm.
and they talked about the Enterprise J, and they talked about and Star Trek Online, the game, and they talked about all these new ships and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like the throwback to um, I don't know.
Throw
Um,
back to that one thing.
I just really appreciated it.
Hmm.
Um, I felt like they were really playing to um, uh, the generation before me.
Yeah, yeah, a very, 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 very cinematic, old original series
Yes,
cinematic feeling to these.
yes.
At least the first half of the episode. The second half, we started getting into
Mm-hmm.
action and conflict with captains and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But reintroducing the characters and putting them in like bar settings, which we got in Star Trek 4. Having them as an admiralty doing a shakedown essentially of the ship, very Star Trek 2. Long sequence of watching this thing leave space dock, Star Trek the motion picture. Many homages to very cinematic, not
Yeah.
television, but cinematic Star Trek.
Yeah.
More obviously done. The show seems to be more obvious in what it is referencing and what it is doing. And I'm going to start talking about Annika Hansen, 7 of 9 again. Because the allegory of 7 of 9 in the trans community is not something that is alien to me. I've heard about that before. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
trans myself, so I don't see it, as readily as other people do. But I understand that there are many people that find themselves in the journey of 7 of 9. So the fact that they did spend that moment, talking about names, and you can see the disappointment, and I don't really want to be Annika Hansen. That's not really who I am. I'm not even really 7 of 9. I'm just kind of 7 now, I'm kind of someone else, even from what you saw when I was on Voyager. Um, you know, so yes, to make that moment a little more blatant, I think shows a lot of love, care, compassion, attention to detail, desire to put on a great show. And I do find it super interesting. I know I've said a lot of words, um, but I do find it super interesting that they filmed this season right after they finished season 2. And
Mm-hmm.
already it looks, feels, tastes, sounds totally different than what they had just pulled off. And one, it's amazing to me that they were able to do that. I feel like I need to climb into the brains of Paramount and be like, what conversations did you have over the last year? Because fan reaction to season 2 of Picard was not strong. Did you have
Mm-hmm.
to go back into this thing and re-edit the hell out of it to just kind of change it somewhat? Or was this your original goal the whole time? I've got so many questions about how they put this thing together already. Tell me the answers. You know all the answers. You know them. You know Rick Berman. Is he still alive? He's still alive, isn't he?
Uh, well, one, um, I want to know from Gates what 1/8 would do,
Mm-hmm.
because 1/8 uh, Beverly, or 1/8 uh, Gates. I loved that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. Two, there was, what was it? There was a scene. There was a moment where um, there was a piece of jewelry that mimicked uh oh gosh, hang on.
Give me some hints. I'll help you. Bajoran stuff. They have jewelry.
No, 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 no. Uh,
Words are hard. I understand.
yes.
There was a piece of jewelry that made you think of something else, and
No,
it was beautiful and it was wonderful and you loved it.
uh um Jordy.
Geordie LaForge, his
Yes.
daughter.
No.
Oh, just him himself.
Yes.
Okay.
Um there was a piece of jewelry that earlier on, there was a piece of jewelry that Soji
Mm-hmm.
had, where it was two
Okay.
rings,
Okay. Yeah. 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 Yes.
and they kind of talked about it for a little
Yeah,
bit,
I
but they never
remember season
explored
1.
it.
It was like a representation of the positronic something or
Yeah,
other that allowed them to build the golems that Picard eventually became.
yeah. And then there was um, something with a forge. Well, it wasn't a starter on the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but there was something that LeVar Burton did with Jory,
Hmm.
and I can't remember what it was.
It really wasn't having a successful romance that we saw. I can tell you that. Because we
Yeah.
didn't see him have a successful one. It seems to have happened off camera. Um,
Hmm.
we saw him save the ship many times. We saw him do
Hmm.
a very dramatic roll underneath a very closing door before the warp core exploded and made it crash onto the planet in Generations. Um, Gosh, what else? We've seen Geordi do all kinds of stuff. Geordi LaForge is probably my favorite Next Generation character, by the way. Um, I don't
He
know
was
why, I just
just
love him.
announced for. He will be at DC this summer, I think.
Okay. Mm.
Anyway.
Well, cool. That is way really far away from me. I'm over here on the West Coast. I'm looking forward to him. I'm looking forward to Jordan LaForge. They mentioned him already twice on the first episode of season 3 of Picard. So
Hmm.
that was awesome. It's like I can't wait. Maybe he'll be in the next episode. I don't know. I didn't see a preview. Um, I don't know. I've always liked him. I just liked his attitude. I liked his friendship with Data. I don't know. I just like him. I worry for him this season though. Honestly, I worry for him because listen. All right, if there's one character in the Next Generation cast to kill off next, it'd be Jordy LaForge.
Mm.
Like, I don't want it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. But, all right, when it comes down to it, you can't kill Picard or Riker. All right, you can't. You just can't. You can't. I mean, they're Kirk and Spock. All right, don't do it. Don't do it. But the fans love Geordi, and he's an integral part of the cast and crew. So if they wanted to go for the Mercutio, you know, that emotional gut punch with the death, Geordi LaForge all the way.
Mm. Mm.
See, you don't like it. You don't like it.
No, I
No,
don't.
no, you're not supposed to like it. That's the whole point of doing it. Is you're not supposed to like it. It makes it dramatic. It makes you hate the whoever the lady is with the slicked face hair that we haven't met
it,
yet.
it, it depends on who he takes out or the story involved.
He would, heroic sacrifice, something like that. It's not going to be like Ichib at the beginning of an episode or something.
Mm, don't. Okay, so I went back through season 1,
Yeah.
and of course we got Icheb in season 1 of Picard,
Mm-hmm.
and if I could afford to punch my screen, I would have, um, because there was just so much going on. Um,
Talk about motivation for Seven, though. Come on.
yeah,
That is why
no,
you
I
become a
agree.
Fenris Ranger. Okay.
Yeah, um, I was a little disappointed um, that we went from season 2 to season 3,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like, okay, Seven is a ranger, and now Seven is a commander.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know.
How did that happen? She
Yeah,
just she didn't have to go through the academy. She just got a commission. I guess that
yes,
happens. I guess that
exactly.
happens. But who gave it to her? Did Picard give it to her, and then he retired and said, "Ha! Now that I'm retired, you can't take it away." I don't know. I don't know. She got assigned to a captain that doesn't appreciate her. I can tell you that much right now. So that'll be fun and
Hmm.
interesting because I mean he already was already like giving the middle finger to Locutus across the table there. I can only imagine
Oh,
the crap that Seven has to take. Um, oh my god.
oh my goodness. Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see play out. But like I said, next week we'll get into all of the crazy details and all that kind of stuff. Because I watch it on my phone. Okay, I need to watch it on a bigger screen. Because I got to look at all of these little intricate details, and I got to look. I got to break it down like all of those popular YouTube channels that millions of people watch. Where it's like, here's our Easter egg breakdowns. Did you see that the door was labeled number 42, and there's a 42 joke that exists in Star Trek? Or maybe it's 47. Regardless. See, I don't know these things yet. I'll learn it. I'll learn it. I'll learn it. I'll learn it. Okay. All right. So we got Picard season 3 on right now. We just finished. The last thing that Ed finished was Prodigy. Have you seen any Prodigy?
Oh yeah.
I like Prodigy very much. I liked it more than Lower Decks.
Mm,
So here's the thing about
no,
Lower Decks. Lower Decks.
sorry.
I know
Lower
you
Decks.
okay, you would love Lower Decks because you're going to understand every single tiny reference they put into it.
Yes.
And that's why. That show was made
Yes.
for you.
Yes.
You. I appreciate it. I think it's fine. I watch it. It makes me giggle sometimes. But really, when it comes down to it, I had to be told about the giant Spock skeleton from the animated series that they had put as a gag, but didn't make any like commentary on or anything, you know. But I understood all the references to like the collector that stole data, you know. So I think that there's just a lot more that you're able to get out of Lower Decks than I can. You might not even know the reference I was making, but um,
Lower Decks. We've needed Lower Decks for, oh God, years.
years
Um,
since Enterprise.
yeah, no, no. Well, no, we needed it since, um, oh God, since the '80s. I
Because
I truly love when the franchise can make fun of themselves.
yeah,
Um, it truly makes me happy when um, they can point out, um, you know, plot holes.
goofiness,
Um,
the
yeah,
goofiness that we've all known, watched, and talked about ourselves.
yeah. It's like, yeah.
Well,
So,
that's something important. I think that's important for fans and a fan base to understand. Is we watch this stuff and we see some things that don't really work out, or things that we think are goofy and all that kind of stuff, and we're watching that as the audience. Imagine the people who are actually creating this thing and going through it and reading it and writing it and rewriting it and shooting it and trying it again and again and again. And well, maybe this time, well, maybe it's one, blah, 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 blah. They know it's not perfect either, and they know it's goofy as hell. Do you think that Leonard Nimoy leaned down and mind melded with a Horta and didn't think that was freaking ridiculous? Of course he did. Of course he did. So remember that when you're watching this show, people. That's all. That's all. That's all. Hmm? I don't know. You're leaning down. I got to see your room for a moment.
no, no, no. I was looking at a alert. Sorry. I do have to say
Yeah.
that with the um, new um, intro for Picard, I, there were so many callbacks to so many different generations of
Mm-hmm.
fans. So I really, I really felt like I needed tissues while watching the first episode, only because there was so much uh, care put into. We understand how much you like
Mm-hmm.
you know, these characters,
Yeah.
but at the same time, here's where they are. Oh gosh, 30 years later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. People have to appreciate that. They have to understand that. Nobody's gonna be the same, right? I'm not the same. I'm not the same now. 36. You think I'm exactly? You think I'm the exact same now as I was when I was 6 years old? I'm not. I'm not. It's been 30 years since then. All right. Beverly Crusher's had a whole kid. All right, since the last time I saw her. I don't know how that happens.
Let
I guess, well, I mean, I know how it happens. A man falls in love with a woman and yada yada yada. I know how it happens. So, you know, whatever.
well, I really liked the at the end of the second season where Will Wheaton
Showed up.
said,
Traveler.
you know, I used to go by Wesley Crusher,
Mm-hmm.
and this is where I'm now. I loved that,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's like, I'm sorry, I want to see more. Um, I, I want to see more Will Wheaton.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You just watch the the after show. You know, the Ready Room. Just watch that.
Yeah, I
Get plenty.
do.
You
It's
want more
not
Wilwin. You
enough.
want. I don't know. I mean, I read. Okay, so here's the thing. I read news reports. I've seen interviews and stuff, and they're like, Will Wheaton's not in this. All right, they're saying Denise Crosby's not in this. Right? They're saying that. They're saying that. They're
Hmm.
saying that. But you know what? They might be in it. Okay, and here's why. Okay, Denise Crosby. So I follow her on Twitter because she's also on General Hospital.
Hmm.
And so I follow her on Twitter, and she tweeted, she's like, "Oh man, it looks like everybody had so much fun at the Picard premiere. I wish that they invited me, but it's okay, right?" Like tweeting that, and she used like hashtag Picard on Paramount Plus and all of this kind of stuff. And I'm sitting there and I'm reading this thing, and I'm like, I've seen, I've seen Spider-Man mess up enough times on MCU things to make me think that you're being loud about not being in it because you're in it.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope so at least. How can you bring everybody back and not have like, Sela show up with Laris with a gun to her head and being like, I got you now, Picard.
Mm.
See?
Yeah, I definitely was not expecting to see her in the first episode.
No, not at all. But wait,
I was happy,
yeah.
but
You talking about Laris?
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it was nice to see her. It's unfortunate that the writers don't quite know what to do with her, or they don't see much value in her character when it comes to
Hmm.
providing more for the overall
Yeah.
season. Because as a former Tal Shiar operative, I would think that this character is prime to be a part of the adventure, but she's never included, and I don't understand. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe the answer is out there, and I just never looked it up. Usually when we do this live for the soap opera podcast, for anybody who's watching this for the Star Trek thing, I'm wondering why I have no Star Trek related people behind me. It's because my main podcast is soap opera related. Um, I don't know what point was I trying to make. I don't know.
Going.
I don't know what point I was trying to make. I've totally forgotten because I started talking about soaps. Par for the course. Old scatterbrain Matthew. That's what they used to call me. Yeah, okay. I don't know, man. We talked for 37 minutes already. We've talked about so much. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. And see, we keep on trying to lean into Picard. Constantly talking about the Picard. So I think that we owe the people a Picard breakdown next week. But for now, I think
Yes.
now I do. Yeah, people know who we are. They know where our passions lie. They know the differences between you and me. All right, this guy right here, he's gonna love the hell out of this thing. He's gonna love it. He's gonna chew it up. He's gonna taste every little morsel that makes up Picard season 3. He's gonna find all of the little shadows, all the little nudges and nuances of things that I am completely blind to, and I look forward to it. And I'm going to bring you the spice. All right, I'm going to tell you when I think it's stupid. And I hope that I never have to say it this season, because right now it's been good so far. I guess once we get to the point where we just have like the MacGuffin that can just fix the ship, then maybe I'll have
Well,
some criticism if that thing comes back.
like I said, we don't have MacGuffins. We have icebergs. So
Yes. Oh, goodness gracious. Well, Matt, thank you very much for joining me here on Deck 10. Well, I guess joining each other, because this will be a regular thing. You're not my guest. We're doing this as a team.
hmm
It's just because I own the channel, I feel like I'm in charge. Rear Admiral Matt Janeway. Matthew Janeway. That's who I am. All right, that's not who I am. Maybe one day. But that day's not today. Thanks for joining us, folks. We'll catch you next time, next week. I don't know.
Thank
I don't know
you.
what day this is going to be yet. We'll figure it out. But maybe we'll make some notes next time. You know,
Hmm.
maybe I'll have like questions. Topics to cover. Okay. When it comes down to it, covering 5 days a week on a soap opera, it's really difficult to make a note because like you have 47 characters on the stupid show and they're all doing something. It's so hard to keep notes. So you just kind of talk about whatever comes to mind. When it comes down to Star Trek Picard, folks, that thing's only on once a week. It's a little easier to be more detailed with. So that's what I'm going to do. All right. I've been Matt. That's Matt. We're going to go. Thank you so much. Goodbye. Live long and
Thank
prosper.
you.
How do we end this thing? Live long and prosper. So cheesy. Like everybody does that, just, hey, thanks for coming. Like we got to do something unique. What do the Romulans say? What do the Cardassians say? What is
Drill on
the
true.
Jolan True? Oh, Bajoran. Well, Peldor Joy, everybody. We'll see you next
Mm,
time.
there you go.